Right, so I'm about to fit Schwalbe's Procore to this pair of Spank Uzi 295 trail rim. The important thing with Procore is that you need a rim with internal width of more than 23 millimeters. I've already pre-installed the high pressure rim tape, which comes with the Procore. And obviously you pierce a hole, then you put like a reinforcing bit of tape over the rim hole. So that's the wheel all ready to go. So the first thing you'll get in your box is the actual Procore sort of sheath. It's like a thin Kevlar kind of tyre. You need to basically mount this onto the rim, and it's pretty tight. So I'm going to use the Schwalbe's tyre lever, which they apparently specially designed for Procore. Get it on there. So the important thing to remember is you need to line up this silver marking with the valve hole in the rim. So just sort of rotate it around a little bit, like that. Then we take our inner tube and we get the air regulator system thing, and we mount this over the valve of the inner tube, and then put the inner tube inside the Procore sheath. Make sure that this lines up with the silver marking on the sheath. When we're mounting this together, make sure that you can still see the red air guide in the hole on the Procore sheath. And then, like a regular tyre, fit it to the rim. This valve allows you to inflate both this little inner tube in here and also the outer tyre, which we'll mount in a minute. To do this, it's basically an adjustable valve, so you unscrew it or you screw it in. Screwed in, this inflates the little inner tube inside here. It's got a fancy little valve on it at the base of the valve. When you unscrew this, the air comes out the side of the valve, and the reason for the air guide, as you saw earlier, it had little channels cut in. This allows the air to come out of this hole and inflate the outer chamber of the Procore system, effectively your tyre. To hold this in place, we need to use the lock nut. It's a special supplied one, which Schwalbe say you have to use. Just stick that on there for now. So next we need to install your regular tyre. So you need to use one which is a minimum of 2.25 inches. So I'm using a Maxxis Minion DHF on the front, and obviously make sure you've got the rotation of the tyre the right way around. So this is sort of the trickier bit of the job. We need to install the wheel in the middle of the tyre. Let's get some logos lined up so we do it proper. Then we need to basically install the bead of the tyre into the bead of the rim, but with the Procore on the inside of the system. This is why you need the wider internal width on your rim. So fitting it all in can be a little bit tricky. Schwalbe provide this easy fit liquid, which you sort of applicate onto the rim with a little foam applicator, so I'll give it a little shake. So we're going to try and get this bit of the rim on a little bit easier. It's basically just a slippy compound to help the tyre slip onto the rim a little bit easier. So that's looking all right. Just quickly check all the way around. Make sure everything's mounted nicely. And turn around. So do the same again on this side. Obviously, a little bit of a tight fit in there. Check that nothing's being pinched by any of the beads. What you don't want to do, obviously, is pinch the inside, the inner tube. All looks good to me. Because we're running the tyre tubeless, obviously we need to put some sealant in there. Normally, you'd add sealant via the valve, but because this is a special Procore valve, Schwalbe say don't do this. So what we need to do is take the bead off the rim again, and then use some of the sealant. This is Schwalbe's Dock Blue. You get 2 bottles of it. It's 60 ml per tyre for a regular mountain bike tyre. So now I've got the Procore on the inside of this, I've got the tyre installed, and I've got all the sealant, the 60 ml of sealant, inside the tyre. Just before I start inflating anything, I'm going to just tighten up the little lock valve here. This is one that Schwalbe provide. It's one worth using, and it sort of digs into the rim and prevents everything from sort of twisting around. So I'll get that on there like that. So we're going to inflate the Procore system now. It's got the special valve. It's got 2 positions all the way in and all the way out. When it's all the way in, this is inflating the Procore system, and when it's all the way out, we're inflating the outer tyre. So to start with, we're inflating the Procore system, so the valve is all the way in. The process for this is to inflate the Procore system to about half of the recommended pressure. I'm going to inflate this to around 3 bar, which is just over 40 psi. There's air escaping, but it's escaping from the outer. Then we need to inflate the outer bit of the tyre, which is still soft, but you can feel inside that the Procore is inflated. So we need to unscrew the valve. Schwalbe have this little tool for when it's tight. Slip that over there. So we're screwing this all the way out so that we can inflate the outer bit of the tyre. If you've got a screw-on pump, hold the outside of the valve so it doesn't rotate as well. So there you can hear it popping into the rim. It's about 40 psi, so just going to check that the tyre is properly in the rim. It's all looking good. Because we've got the Procore system in at 3 bar at the moment, but the operating pressure is around 6 bar, we need to inflate the inner again. We'll get the valve, screw it all the way in. A little one there. So we're up at 6 bar now. And then we can take the valve so it's in the position for the outside, because remember this is now pumped up to around 40 psi. So we'll just unscrew that all the way out. And then when we release pressure, we're releasing pressure from the outside. You can take this down to tyre pressures which are a lot lower than you normally would, so I would probably set this to around 18 psi perhaps. Obviously play around with the tyre you're running, the conditions you're running it in, and sort of how you feel that the bike's riding. Down to about there. And then finally you get your nice sticker sheet from Schwalbe, make it easy to find the valve and just to show off that I'm using Procore. Very nice. Pop the little lock nut back on. Get the lock nut reasonably tight. Little valve protector. Keep that on. The whole system's quite expensive, so the longer you can preserve the quality of the valve, the better. Obviously keep the valve screwed all the way in. And then, lowish pressures in here. You won't be able to feel the actual Procore system right now with your thumbs, but it's in there. The tyre is nicely held into the rim. Job's a good one.